Hey Izzy, tell me about your flaws.
Excuse me?
Come on, tell me.
Oh, Ashton, we all know that as a senior drum major, I have no flaws. Do you know who I am? I am the senior drum major. I have no flaws. I never do anything wrong. I am perfect. Let's get that straight right now.
Girl, don't make me start.
All around me are familiar faces.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. I just woke up and it's a little cold, it's a little raining outside, but that's not going to stop me from talking about today's video. Now, the skit that you just saw obviously is not how drum majors should think and feel, and if you do feel like that, maybe you shouldn't. In fact, the more that you think the opposite, the better you will grow as a drum major. And growth is what makes drum majors awesome! The reason we wanted to do this video first is because failure is such a big topic for drum majors, and we thought that of course it should be first, because it's not only is it the most intense feeling that you will probably feel as a drum major, but it's really important to learn how to cope with those things. So what me and Ashton are going to do, we are going to both share stories of failure and then talk about how we personally got over it, and then a little bit more ways to cope with different kinds of failure as a drum major. So, here we go! My story technically takes place about 7 days before I was drum major, although it has a lot of similar themes that you will probably face. So, when I was running for drum major, I ran against two other people. Everyone's favorite trumpet player, Ryan, and Jillian, who played the tenor saxophone but didn't last season, but we love her. So all three were really talented, and to the point where we almost mutually jealous of each other. It was really weird. But we had a day where we could all conduct in front of the classroom, one by one, to the fight song. Just like a practice day before the auditions, and I was like, yes, I finally get to show everyone what I've been working on, yes! However, no matter how hard I thought that I was practicing, I found out that when Jillian went up there to conduct and then Ryan went up there to conduct, I really didn't know a whole lot. In fact, while I was watching them, I started to fill my head with thoughts of, oh wow, I am not good enough for this. I will never be good enough to be drum major. I'm not popular. I can't be drum major. Because, and I say these for a few reasons, because when Jillian went up there, she got a big applause from her friends, big massive support from her friends. That's totally okay. We love that for her. But it freaked me out because when I went up there, like my close friends were like, woo, yeah, you got this. And I don't know why, but in my head, it made me feel like, oh, they prefer Jillian over me, which shouldn't have mattered at the time, but it really did to me. It's my turn. So as I go up there, I freeze because I had forgotten everything I knew about the fight song. The fight song pattern, but we'll get into this. The fight song pattern is 1 and 2 and 1, just over and over and over and over and over and over again. Never stop. But when I went up there, I started to do like a type of funny curve. Very funny curve. And it was really embarrassing for me, and I was off tempo a lot, and I was offbeat a lot. I tried to get back on, couldn't. That's just how it is sometimes. But Mr. M said a few closing words to all three of us, and I picked myself up, took myself to the nearest practice room, shut the door, and cried in the corner. I filled my head with so many thoughts of failure, but it wasn't anyone else telling me that I was a failure. It was me telling myself that I was a failure, and it wasn't true. That was the first time I had conducted in front of anyone ever, and although it wasn't the best that it could be, I didn't realize at the time that that one moment doesn't define me, and it doesn't. And if you ever have a failure when it comes to conducting, that one moment does not define you. leadership is just as important as conducting. And I feel like that's a big reason why I was chosen. Because at the time, I wasn't the best at conducting. Jill and Ryan were so much better than me. I still think that way today. So the way that I coped with this is Mr. M did come and talk to me while I was in the practice room and made me feel a lot better. I also talked to a lot of friends that I knew would listen to me and hear me out, kind of listen to what I had to say. And while I did that, I learned that maybe my feelings weren't as, extreme as I thought. Because although what happened to me felt really bad to me, no one else really understood because they didn't think that it was bad at all. So then I got to thinking, I was like, okay, well, if it wasn't that bad, how can I improve? So I talked to a few of my friends, and I even talked to Mr. M about how I can improve my fight song stuff, and he taught me how to subdivide to, instead of just going, he taught me how to do, and that's what I did for the audition. It took me a long time to figure out how I was going to personally handle failure that was in my own head. And I found out very quickly and early into my drum major career that it is the thing that I felt the most. I don't think anyone ever came up to me and was like, wow, you suck, you're a failure. No, it was always my brain going, what are you doing? God, you suck. Like, stuff like that, and you know, that's really unhealthy. If you are ever faced with the feeling of, oh, I don't feel good enough, I will never be good enough, listen to what I have to say, listen to the way that I coped with my experience of internal failure, talk to someone who will listen, or if you need someone who will understand you, me and Ashton are always gonna be here for you. We love you guys, we want to do this for you, and we understand you. We understand what you're going through. So I think that that was all I wanted to say. I'm now going to turn you over to Ashton so she can talk to you about her own experiences with failure. And that's it for me. Bye bye!
Hi guys, I guess it's my turn to talk about my own failures that I wish I didn't have. If you see me looking down, it's because I have some stuff written down that I need to look at so I can remember and stay on track. This story is from this past marching season. It starts on senior night, where I had to conduct part 3 for the band as just for practice before the football game. And we had just put it on the field, I think, that week during rehearsal, or maybe the week before. And I did not do well at all. I messed it up really badly. I did not remember where any fermatas or tempo changes or time changes were, even though I had Mr. M right next to me helping me, giving me all that stuff. I still messed it up horribly. I just didn't know what I was doing because I hadn't learned it when I should have. And it made me feel really bad. I remember after it ended, everybody was just kind of looking at each other like, what just happened? What was she doing? Why is she like that? And I just like felt really horrible about myself because it just wasn't fun. Like, messing up in front of everybody like that just was absolutely like the worst experience of this past marching season, just for me personally. I dealt with it. I didn't at first. I just kind of stood there while Mr. M talked about it, like the football game and stuff, and I just felt so embarrassed. I could feel like my face getting red and like heating up. I felt really bad for myself. I went home and I cried for a little bit, and then I picked myself up and I taught myself counts and sets and moves and everything around when the music changed, and I memorized where all of those tempo changes, time changes, and fermatas were. I memorized all the counts and everything, and I really drilled it into my brain. I worked with Izzy on the conducting styles around the fermatas, and I just made myself dependent on myself and on my knowledge because I needed to trust myself. I learned that I needed to be able to depend on myself, and I learned that I need to work harder to learn that stuff, because obviously I hadn't before. It was a huge wake-up call, and it told me that I needed to just put work in. Part 3 was really hard for me for whatever reason. It was actually the most difficult part of this past show for me because there were so many changes and things to remember to conduct, and it was just like I needed to learn to put work in that I hadn't before. Extra work always pays off. I want to thank you guys again for watching. I apologize for making you guys aware of the fact that Izzy and I fail sometimes. Like, it's kind of hard for me to, like, have you guys know that we aren't perfect all the time. Because, like, obviously we are. I mean, maybe we just made this stuff up for this video just so you guys will feel better. We're cool. We don't mess up. Sorry to inform you. To be real, I hope that you guys were able to learn something about us and about yourself. Failure, it's hard to deal with, but it's also something that can help you. Like I said, I hope that you guys are staying safe and like washing your hands. Just stay away from other people. We want you safe and healthy. Thank you. We'll see you guys next time. Bye!
It's very prominent. Now, me and Olive are going... Olive. I said Olive.
From, and it's something that you shouldn't dwell on or make yourself like feel bad about for. I can't talk.